One question I think would be pretty interesting to ask when it comes to being a streamer on Twitch. Like many of us encounter frustrations, kind of we talked about earlier about like backseaters, spoilers, and aggressive people in chat. So in your opinion, what do you think are some of the best Twitch etiquette rules out there for that more people should be made aware of out of curiosity?
I think they all come down to the same thing. So every now and then I will wake up in like a bit of a mood, and you'll be able to tell because I will tweet something along the lines of, please don't be this person, and then complain about something that happens on Twitch.
Yeah.
But they all come down to the same concept, and it's that remember that streamers are human beings, right? We are people, just human beings. Yes, we're entertainers. Yes, we can sometimes make fools of ourselves, and we play games, we interact.
How many bits?
How many bits
exactly.
for? Yeah. How much money can I pay to make you humiliate yourself? How many subs to do this? Just general boundary pushing as well. But it all comes down to just remember that this is a person. Would you say what you've just said to them if you bumped into them on the street? The answer is normally no.
Right. Walking up to someone.
That's as far as Twitch etiquette. It's just we're people. Just be a good person. It's not hard. In fact, it's easier to be a good person than it is to be a crappy person.
I agree. No, I think that's a great one. Just like think of streamers as fellow human beings and just treat them with respect and empathy. 100%.
Yeah, and like a lot of people like I what was it? Somebody asked me. I was like in a funny mood on stream, right? And I was singing bits and pieces of songs that were just coming into my head. And somebody said, "Oh, I want you to sing on my birthday." And I said, "Well, I don't really sing. I don't really do that."
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Well, ideally, I'd want you to sing this song." And I said, just as an aside, "Oh, I know all the words to that song."
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's a song that I'd listened to in my teens.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, it's all settled then." And I kind of said, "Well, no, I'm not a performing monkey."
Right.
I'm, and like the comeback was, "Well, you are though, but you're an entertainer." And yes, I'm an entertainer, but I'm an entertainer on my terms.
Right.
Not your terms. I decide what my boundaries are and what I will and won't do. And if there's an intersection in the Venn diagram of what you'd like and what I'll do, then brilliant. That's where we can exist. But I kind of feel like far too often, and it does happen far more often in female streamers than male streamers, but viewers will come in and just assume that they can be disrespectful or how many bits to, right?
Right.
And it's like, no, what?
Right. Yeah, I think what makes it frustrating too is there are some streamers out there who are like that, who will just say like, I'll eat something super spicy for 100 or whatever, like X number of whatever, or
that's fine, but those are their terms, right? But you can't.
Right. Some viewers think that applies to everyone, and it's like on an individual basis, not on an all streamers basis.
Exactly. You can't walk down. Okay, I'm going to make a bit of a lewd analogy here, right? You can't walk down the street in the red light district, turn two corners, exit the red light district, and then expect what was okay down there to be okay over there. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, fine, that streamer does it. Okay, well, go there then.
Maybe they'll sing you happy birthday.
Yeah.
Right. I completely agree. And I think it's some people, and it also stems back to the fact some people are on Twitch for different reasons. Those people who like just want to make as much money as they can on it
which is fair. I mean, a lot of people do that. Like, you bake cupcakes to make as much money as possible. Some people do it because they like baking cupcakes.
Exactly.
But like, I think a lot of it, what it comes down to is a lot of streamers are uncomfortable saying no because they're worried that person will leave and not come back. Right. 95% of streamers stream to 5 or fewer. So if one person makes an uncomfortable query and you turn around and say, "That's not okay in my stream," that's 20% of your viewership out the window, right?
Right.
But, and it's easy for me to say because I stream to anywhere from 20 to 40 people. So like 1 or 2 people going doesn't doesn't really affect me too much.
Right.
But if I was going to give any advice to a newer streamer, is sort of figure out the vibe of what you want your stream to be. If you want your stream to be $5 and I'll drink a beer through my sock, then fine, that's your stream and that's fine.
Right.
If you want your stream to be a different way, and like I know streamers that their stream is completely PG and they don't allow swearing, and that's fine too. But if you can figure out the kind of vibe that you want and then enforce those rules with friends, with subs, with VIPs, with mods with everyone. Because also, like I started recently saying I don't want anyone talking about their age in my chat.
Yeah.
Because my chat's registered as 18 plus, and if you tell me in chat that you are under 18, I will ban you. Because you're not supposed to be here, and it keeps you safe and it keeps me safe, right?
Same. Yep.
So every time I started saying this in stream, regulars would meme the rule. They'd be like, oh, it's okay for me, I'm 69.
Right.
And it's like, the problem is, so if you say, I don't want anyone to talk about my age in chat, and then someone says, it's fine, I'm 420.
Right.
They've subverted the rule and made it clear to the people that you're actually talking to that there are no consequences to breaking the rule. So you have to enforce it. It's almost more important to enforce it with your regulars, the people that you can joke around with, than the people that you want to actually follow the rules, if that makes sense.
No, that absolutely does. It's kind of, I mean, it's just like, I don't know how to say this in like, but like training a dog, and I don't mean in like any kind of mean or way or whatever,
I get
or
the
like
analogy,
or training a kid, or like teaching a kid, or you have to, if you're saying to do something, you got to do it. There's consequences to actions. So if you say like don't talk about your age, and somebody says their age, you should at least, and if it's like a regular, maybe it could be something as simple as like a message, or maybe calling them out in like a joking way, but kind of like but seriously, like let's not talk about our age kind of thing. I feel like with streaming, as I've been doing it for longer, it's a lot of newer people coming in. If they do something, I'm usually pretty like quick and easy, like, hey, no backseating, no spoilers, don't do that, or you'll get timed out, or like it'll lead to
super glad
ban.
you're here, but that's not what we do.
Exactly. It almost becomes more difficult, I feel like, with mods or VIPs or regulars who have been there a long time, and you're like, why are you pushing me like this? Like it almost kind of, do you kind of feel that sometimes? Not with anyone in particular, but sometimes regulars will push you and you're like, I know we're friends, but like, don't do that, come on.
And sometimes, I mean, sometimes you can deal with it with a bit of a look or a bit of a tone change.
Right.
Like people can pick it up. Like, most people can kind of read the room. Like I've had a couple of viewers who, and they're fine. They're good people, and they'll tiptoe the line every now and then. They'll cross it, and I'll let them know that they've done it kind of non-verbally. There have been one or two occasions where I've had to sort of talk to that person outside of stream. I've just sent a message on Discord to say, listen, I appreciate what you're doing. I know where it was coming from. It's not okay in my stream.
Heads up next time.
So I'm asking you nicely as a human being, don't do that again.
Right.
The implication being, if you do it again, this is going to sound horrible, right? But if somebody continues to breach boundaries
and push,
I genuinely don't care who they are. Like I've had people in my real life that have been abusive or toxic, like close people, and I've just gone, I'm done. We're done now. That's it. We don't get to talk anymore. And that in the long run is better. But again, it's hard when you're a small streamer. That's really hard to do. Can you imagine you've got like one mod or two mods, and one of them keeps acting up and pushing boundaries and like breaking rules.
Right.
It's a hard decision to make, but I'm 34, right? I'm too old for this shit. Like,
no,
I don't have patience and time for that. Like, I will, after a warning and like having a heart-to-heart with somebody and saying this is not okay, if they continue to do it, I will ban that person and not think about them again because they didn't respect me enough to follow the rules.
I agree,
and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, that's really what it is respect. I mean, that's like the core issue of it at the end of the day. And if somebody just keeps pushing it, whether they think it's funny or they're being lighthearted or whatever they have behind it, at the end of the day, it's like, you keep disrespecting me and keep putting me in an uncomfortable position where I have to make these calls in these circumstances. And if you were a real friend, you wouldn't do that. So yeah, that's where kind of it comes to after that. When I was first streaming, probably like 3 or 4 months into my stream, one of my very regular viewers who was there like every single day and was chatting like the entire time, was usually kind of a little bit of had an asshole edge to him and was kind of a pusher in some things, and we just all kind of joked it off and stuff. But there did come a point where they just went too far, and eventually I was in that position and had to make a tough call. So, but I feel better after it. I mean, of course, it's not meant with any kind of hateful feelings or anything. It's just like, maybe we're not meant to be together. Maybe exactly, my vibe isn't your vibe, and that's fine. And kind of what we said even earlier, like, once you define who you are as a content creator, as a streamer, as a human being, like, some people will gravitate towards you harder and some people 100%. Will push away. So that's not good or bad. It's just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine. And like, there's an audience for everyone. Yes. And it's the audience finding the streamer, but the streamer finding the audience as well, I think.
Completely agree.